Looks like we are live again. I am just testing out my YouTube. That looks like it's working. Let me go to Kick. Are we live on Kick? We most certainly are. It's been a minute. I haven't streamed in a while. Going traveling for a month and then coming back. I had a lot of busy work to do. It's hard to do busy work when you're on the road. Like when you're in Paris, you want to sit in a room and do some busy work, or you want to go out and live your life. So did New York, Dubai. No, I did New York, London, Paris, south of France, Dubai, back. So I've been catching up on work. So I haven't done a video or update since the market crash. So essentially Trump said there's going to be this trade war, says this tweet, there's insider trading. This guy takes a $300 million short against Bitcoin. That starts the market going down. Then the tweet comes out. There was a lot of leverage in the system. People are very bullish. I've done this before. And people start doing all the leverage trading. Everything looks good. And then you have an unexpected crash and everyone gets liquidated. Also, these exchanges are not your friend. So these exchanges like Binance, they can see where everyone's position is and what everyone's liquidation is. And they have billions of dollars. So you don't think these exchanges with whales are colluding? So they're like, hey, if we can get people under 106,000 Bitcoin, all these positions are going to get obliterated, and then we buy back in. So probably coordinated dumping. And it's sad. I mean, $20 billion worth of money got liquidated. A couple famous crypto influencers got annihilated and killed themselves. You know, the thing about money, I mean, I've lost a lot of money. I've been liquidated before. It's like one of the worst feelings. But the thing with money is you can always make it back, right? Always get lucky. Freaking who knows, win the lottery. You can always make the money back. There's nothing worth killing yourself over. So it's unfortunate. And what's even sadder is like it was such a manipulation. The market crashed. And then we're back. Everything rallied. Everyone bought the dip and went back. That's like why when I tell people, especially if they're new to Bitcoin, don't trade it. Dollar cost average. Like my dad's super into the price because he owns a lot of Bitcoin related stocks. I don't even check the price. Everyone's like, oh, like I might find out the price crash from like X or whatever. I do not follow the daily price of Bitcoin. And the best way to do it, and this is what I've done for friends and family, is just dollar cost average in whatever you can afford, set up monthly, set it and forget it, and don't plan on touching your Bitcoin for at least 3 years. You're going to make good money. But people, you know, if you're investing it and you're trying to make 10% in a week, this isn't what it's for. You're going to lose money. And, you know, all these people are selling you these trading courses. Trading is hard, man. You have to be very gifted. And then on top of it, the market's manipulated against you. The casino always wins. The house always wins. So how do you beat it? You opt out with Bitcoin, you dollar cost average, and you don't trade it. That way, these, you know, whales, whatever, can't fleece you out of your Bitcoin. So don't trade it. Get off these exchanges. And the sad part, like FTX, people were just doing, you know, winning trades, having a good time. The exchange goes, you lose everything. So these exchanges, there's risk in everything, right? And man, I still remember this conversation like yesterday. I was down in Paraguay and this guy I'm friends with, he like is my age and pretty much retired early off of Bitcoin because he bought a ton of it early. And since he's retired, he wanted to make money on his money, and he deposited with what was that company? Not Celsius, or Yeah, I think it was like Celsius or something where you deposit and you get these like 8% returns, which aren't practical. And he asked me to work on my Bitcoin in like cold storage. And he's like, "Oh, I'm getting like 8%." He lost half of his wealth when that company went out of business. So don't get fleeced. Don't leverage trade. I know it's sexy and you want to make money on your money, and they got these perpetual long contracts. You're like, Bitcoin's gonna go up. I lost a lot of money. I remember the last crash. I was like, hey, it's not gonna go below 30, and we went down to 14. We went from 69 to a 14. Can you believe that? And imagine people that bought at 14. What a deal. So there's always going to be deals in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's just getting started. And the lack of financial education in this country is absolutely frightening. People don't know anything. Like, I was watching that Tranks guy in New York. He's the gold, diamond, does all the jewelry. And he's giving out, like, he's going around asking people, how much is this gold bar worth? And it was 700,000, and people were guessing. I mean, some of the answers were just so off. And then he would give people silver for answering the thing, and people would have no idea. They're like, is this worth anything? And like people would come in, and there'd be another video from one of the guys in the diamond district, and the guy would have like 150 ounces of silver that he gave him. And he's like, this is worth $4,000. Like, people don't even know what silver is. Like, they don't have no idea what the price is, nothing. And that, I think that's by design. The U.S. doesn't want people educated, because if they're educated, right, the system's up. But the scary part is the system's coming to an end. I think there's a couple of accounts that are funny, and it's just their accounts are called late stage capitalism. And we are in late stage capitalism. And you can really see it. We're like foaming at the top, like the luxury car market, Lamborghinis, Rolls Royce, everyone's got one. And the watch market, right? Like the watches prices are going crazy, all this stuff. You know what? Assets are just going to fall through the freaking bottom of the floor when this market corrects and we start having some serious deflation. These luxury cars are going to lose so much value so quick. It's going to spin your head around. Also, these Rolexes, these fancy watches, they're going to depreciate so fast. Can't eat a watch, and it's only as worth as much as someone else is willing to pay for it. Hey, maybe we hit hyperinflation, right? And cars and watches are a good place to put money. But in my perspective, like idea what's going to happen, I think we're going to have a big crash. I think the amount of help that the Fed and the U.S. government is backstopping the stock market is overset. They are doing it, but if some of these hedge funds or some people, major players start dumping, Trump and the government's going to have to come in and like get approval from Congress and bail out these things, and it's going to take time, and a lot of these things could crash and go to zero. So I think we're going to have a major crash, and then we are going to get the hyperinflation where people are going to come in and be like, we need to bail out everyone again and spend $1 trillion, and they're going to nationalize all the banks, and then that's when we get hyperinflation. And hey, maybe if you own cars and watches, it's better than having money in the bank. I don't know. But I'm just looking. The real estate market globally is out of its mind. For what people make and what these houses are going for, they're not real value. Like, people can't afford them anywhere, and they have no reflection of what people are earning and how you can buy a house and have a family. They're literally trading pieces for inflation. Major companies, corporations are just buying and parking money. But Bitcoin's the ultimate place to park your money, because what are they going to do when this thing crashes? You're going to get a rise of socialism and communism, and they are going to raise the shit out of taxes on real estate. They're going to increase property taxes. You never truly own your home, right? This house, there's no mortgage on this house. But you still pay, $30,000 a year property tax. Who really owns it? The government owns it, and they can increase that by voting it. So no matter what, you have no mortgage. You still all taxes every year on your property, and they can keep raising it and make it crazy. I think the beginning of the end is when you get like an Elizabeth Warren into power, who knows nothing about economics, nothing about money, and she starts taxing unrealized gains. When you see taxes on unrealized gains, that is the beginning of the end. Why? Because these billionaires are just billionaires on paper. They don't have that cash. So for them to get that cash, they would have to liquidate these assets, and then, you know, you start getting a free fall of all the assets, and it's just, that's what's going to happen. Am I giving a Solana giveaway? Market's going crazy. Realistically, do you think Bitcoin can reach 1 million a coin? I mean, we're at 6 figures right now. It's less than 10x. Super easy to go to 1 million. And I think we're in the beginning of a super cycle. Why do I think we're in a super cycle? Because the U.S. is on board with Bitcoin, and Trump's going to be the president unless something happens to him for another 3 years. So if you would have had a Biden or one of these Democrats in office, they would just say, hey, Bitcoin's destroying the planet, and Bitcoin mining, and it would have been a really uphill battle. Now you have the biggest competitor to Bitcoin and biggest roadblock to adopting it, building a strategic reserve, and going all in on it. And I'm just shocked you have the United States saying this, but then you only have El Salvador, that's the only country that adopted. Central African Republic said they adopted and rescinded it. Also, El Salvador rescinded it as legal tender to get IMF money. Where are all these countries? Are they just asleep at the wheel? Is everyone just an idiot? Like, why doesn't a Paraguay adopt Bitcoin? I just don't understand it. For Latin America, you look at the Monroe Doctrine, where the U.S. wants to control all of Latin America. I don't think these countries have enough freedom to adopt Bitcoin. There was a digital asset bill that passed all the houses or Congress in Panama, and then it went to the president's desk and he just vetoed it. Panama is pretty much a satellite of the U.S. And they don't want people adopting Bitcoin. But it's at the same time, the U.S. is getting on board the Bitcoin train, but they don't want anyone else to. Maybe we just want to collect all the Bitcoin and then control it. I don't know. When you look at Africa, Africa has the most to gain by adopting Bitcoin. They have little to no banking. Most people don't have bank accounts. It's a way to fight the colonialism, imperialism that is happening to this day. And you look at Ibrahim Traore, or whatever you say his name, you know, that's why he's so popular. He's just kind of bringing back sovereignty of Africa. But the problem is if he really wants to do it, Ibrahim Traore's got to adopt Bitcoin. Like Burkina Faso, all right, you can try building this and that. If you really want to flip the script, Burkina Faso needs to adopt Bitcoin. It would be epic. And what I would do if I was the finance minister of like Burkina Faso is I would say, I'd be radical. I'd be like, starting tomorrow, every resource that is exported here, we are trading for Bitcoin. And we're going to start building a strategic reserve, and we're going to price all our commodities in Bitcoin. I mean, it would be fighting words, but if you really want to go at it and change your economy, Bitcoin's got a way to go. And start paying your government employees a percentage of their salary in Bitcoin. Because if your population starts saving in Bitcoin this early in the stage, people are going to be rich. They're going to spend money. And you look what El Salvador did. They didn't make so much money on the Bitcoin, right? Just the tourism alone, they made billions of dollars. But El Salvador is a unique situation because they got great beaches, a great place to visit. And you need leadership. They turned themselves from the most dangerous country in Central America to the safest country in 3 years. So anything's possible, and I'm just looking at these African countries. I'm like, you got nothing to lose. Worst case, you say you're not going to adopt Bitcoin. IMF doesn't like it. They come in and give you like an interest-free $1 billion loan to rescind it. Like you could at least blackmail them and get some money out of it. So, you buy Bitcoin at the price you deserve, right? These countries that are just followers and are doing the same old, they're going to go nowhere fast, and they're going to be buying it at $1 million. I've actually spoken to one country, and they're going to entertain me maybe speaking to them about Bitcoin and adopting it. We'll see how serious they are. But I don't know what these guys are thinking. If I was in any power, any African country right now, I would adopt Bitcoin, integrate it, pay people, trade our commodities for Bitcoin, and just be one of the wealthiest countries in Africa. I mean, I don't know how strong the foreign influence is, or people do it, they get killed. I don't know. You look at history. Gaddafi wanted to do the golden dinar, make an African union. What happened to him? Dead. Saddam Hussein wanted to trade oil for euros instead of dollars. Dead. It's all coming down to money. And as more and more countries try to leave and China grows in power, you're going to see all these frivolous, crazy wars. Like, I don't know what Trump's thinking with Venezuela. I think Venezuela is going to blow up in Trump's face if he decides to invade Venezuela. Why? Because the deep state and CIA are not controlled by Trump. So they can tell him, hey, this is an easy slam dunk thing. And they set him up like a bay of pigs, and he goes in there and all these guys get slaughtered, and it ruins his presidency. Also, we have international rule of law. You can't just invade Venezuela. They offered all their concessions, resources, and stuff to stop a war, but they want Maduro gone. We can't be the world police forever, and there's international law. Like, we can't go to every country. Some people can say, hey, Biden stole that last election. We're going to invade you unless you guys have, it works both ways. And the world's going to get sick of the U.S. interfering with everyone else's business. And we have no right to invade Venezuela. They haven't attacked us. They have their own government. And you can say what you want about Maduro. Communism doesn't work, but at the same time, the U.S. is waging an all-out economic war like they did with Cuba and collapse the currency. And that's why you have Venezuelans almost in every Latin American country, because of the failed economy. And another lesson to be learned about Venezuela went from one of the richest countries in the world per capita to one of the poorest in a very short period of time because the currency collapsed. Cap in the United States. If the United States currency, the dollar collapses, in a very short period of time, you could see the standard of living collapse in the United States. Our standard of living in the United States is so artificial, it's not even funny. All we do is consume and we produce nothing. All we do is export the US dollar. How long do you think the world's going to let that happen? China holds all the cards now. All the manufacturing, all the goods. There's plenty of other countries that will pay for these goods. China does not need to ship them to us. And in any conflict, China's going to be able to mass produce just about anything they want for a war effort. And that's why the U.S. got so big in World War II. Our factories were unaffected by the war, and we started producing everything for the war and became the world's manufacturing hub. We've allowed that to go. And with inflation, I think I saw something crazy that like the average factory worker wage is like $40+ an hour. We can't compete on a global scale anywhere manufacturing. Maybe we bring robots in and we can do it. But who's making all the robots? China, and all this new, like China started off making just like t-shirts and stuff. Now all the new developments of manufacturing are coming out of China, not the United States, which is very scary. And another thing is, the United States projects a lot of power via aircraft carriers in our fleet. Now with hypersonic cruise missiles that China has, I mean, anyone can knock out one of these $7 billion aircraft carriers that take, a decade to make in an instant. The whole dynamic of war is changing, especially with these drones. And China's strategy is not to face the United States directly. It is to collapse the United States from within and let us go to war with each other. And you can see this in this indirect war China's waging. Chemicals, they're mass importing these precursors into Mexico, which are making fentanyl, meth, and then poisoning the United States. So it's pretty much you're having reverse opium war. And I see it firsthand. I mean, I live in one of the safest cities in California, and I went to the store the other day, and people were overdosing on fentanyl, and they have the Narcan on the table from CVS. They know they're going to OD, and they have the Narcan on the table ready for people to revive. And this is like a really nice area. The drug epidemic has literally infiltrated into every walk of life, every sector, whether you're rich, poor, there's just drugs everywhere, just ruining people. And I have seen, I've spent a lot of time now in the UAE and Dubai. There's no drugs, there's no crime. And you look at just the toll on society drugs is playing. I used to be like a libertarian on drugs, legalize everything so the cartels aren't making all this money and let people make their own decisions. I don't think that way anymore. If I were to run for like governor of California, one of the first things I would say we would make the penalty for distributing drugs the highest penalty in the U.S. If you get caught consuming, we're going to have like work camps for you, like rehab. But anyone caught distributing, like we're going to lock you up and throw away the key. And somehow figure a way to either tax alcohol. Alcohol is just in your face everywhere you go. Everyone's an alcoholic here. I would tax the crap out of alcohol. And the other thing I would do is the penalties for stealing here, I would make them like Dubai. It would be crazy if you got caught stealing anything in this state. Because what happened is California decriminalized theft. So it was like anything under $1,100 or $900 was a misdemeanor. It was like a ticket. So when they did that, retail theft surged because there's no consequence, right? And then it's tragedy of the commons kind of. Then people were like, well, why am I paying for this? This guy's just walking out, and then you get a ticket. I'm gonna steal. So then everyone else starts stealing because you're like, I'm the only idiot that's paying for anything. So you need to have consequences for misbehavior. And everyone's like going to say, oh, it's going to cost billions of dollars to house all these people. What's the consequence to your society if it's not safe and you're walking on the street, people will just punch you in the face because they're tripping out on fent or meth or all these crazy drugs now. And the worst part is they're putting like fentanyl in marijuana now. So like these high school kids go to just get high and do innocent MJ and die. So I kind of feel bad for this next generation of kids growing up because you have to be really smart because people are going to put fent on marijuana and other drugs that you don't think that are going to be hard, and you can just die. And the fentanyl's so strong. Like you've seen videos where like the cops go check the bag or open the car and they pass out from the fentanyl. Just a little bit of it will kill you. So that's kind of my rant is the U.S. needs to crack down. And I do agree, like, with some of the things Trump's doing, he's going after these labs in these countries where it's being produced, and obviously their politicians and military are corrupted at the highest level, and they're not going after any of this, or it would be shut down, and we might do some missile strikes. But it is no excuse as a precursor to fully invade another country over drug distribution. That's what the story, I listened to Alex Jones the other day, and he's trying to say, oh, I agree with Trump, he doesn't say, but he's giving the reasoning of a U.S. invasion because of the drug factories and the government is not doing anything. And there's another thing. I'm a U.S. citizen. If this country goes to war, right, like you need Congress to vote on it. The people that represent me are supposed to vote whether we go to war or not. And we're having all of these wars indirectly, or the CIA is waging. No Americans voting for any of this, and there's going to be serious consequences. Like, CIA is waging this indirect war with Russia and Ukraine. I didn't vote for it. I didn't vote to spend billions of dollars, black budget, all this stuff. And this war could easily spiral into World War III, nukes being used, a lot of people dying, and no Americans voting for what they're doing. Like, it's absolutely insane. The United States is funding, like, the pension system of Ukraine. We are not taking care of our own people, and yet we are funding other countries' pension systems. We just gave Milei in Argentina $20 billion. We're bailing out Argentina. I love Argentina. Buenos Aires is one of my favorite cities. Why are we giving, because they're our friends, we're giving them $20 billion? It's kind of insane. When you think of, remember the Maui fires? This crazy fire just wiped out a whole entire town. People lost their family, lost everything. The government came in and gave everyone $500. That's like, what, 2 nights in a hotel room? But we can fund the pensions of another country. We can give $20 billion to Argentina. I would much rather have paid $20 billion to rebuild the Maui fires and give all these people a ton of money that were taxpayers and just your average working Americans than give it to Ukraine and Argentina. I don't know. It's crazy. All right, don't feel sorry for our generation. On that note, buy me a gram of weed for $15. Where $15 for a gram? What country are you in? Are you gonna get in trouble for this marijuana purchase? Wait, hold on. Let me see. I'll send some Solana out. I gotta figure out how to get your addresses off of a thing. I still have the kick app on here. Let me see if I can copy paste. All right, chat. Wait, send me your address. Oh, Tanzania, one of my favorite countries. Send me your address separately so I can copy it. Just send me your address separately so I can copy it on the chat. Because I'm not copying, like, your whole message. Hold on, let me see if Slam do. Send me, the Tanzania guy, send me your address, but like just your address. Don't send it with a bunch of other words so I can copy it. Okay, let me see. I got $1,000 in Sol in this account. Let's see if I can send some money. Is this it? Ends in SX. Yeah, all right. Slamdu from India. You want $5? How much is $5 in Seoul? Here's your $5. Thank you for playing. All right. Slamdu. Can you add someone? Wait, what? Oh, I need to make this bigger. Range Maniac. How is Tanzania, man? I did a 2-week safari with my family there. I was in Arusha. I stayed at the, oh God, what was it? It was like a really nice hotel. We had like guys with AKs guarding us. And then we went into the Serengeti for a week, and it was fantastic. All right. On the Chinese update. All right, let me see if this works. Oh, chaos today. Elections went bad. Are people like rioting in Tanzania? Wait, send. Send me your address to get. I don't know why it's hard. I can't copy it off of here. Or maybe this isn't updating. Hold on. Hold on. I can. Alright. Yeah, because like I'm going off the Kick chat from here, but the problem is like it doesn't. Maybe close the window a bit. The chat, like text, don't update really fast on here. Hold on. I'd rather not email your address to myself. Oh, here we go. Okay. I just had to start the app again. I'm sending you 525. What are you even like in Tanzania? What are you even doing with Solana? Are you like gambling on meme coins? Oh wow. Even the military was fighting police. So when I was in Tanzania, there was pictures of the woman, and she was like the first female president, but she wasn't elected. She was the guy, she was like the VP or something, and the president died all of a sudden, and she became the president, and I believe she's Muslim. So do they have an election to replace her? Hold on, let's go online and look. Tanzania election. Now I'm kind of curious, like, do you think this is affecting tourism in the country for all the safaris and people coming? Tanzania authorities must investigate police use of force against election day protests. Reports that one general member of the public and one police officer have been killed during election day. Protests across Tanzania are deeply disturbing. The risk of further escalation is high. We urge police to exercise. So you got the money? $5. What does someone make for like a day's worth of work in Tanzania? Also, like, I should be sending my stream like link out. Wait, hold on. See, I should have done this when I first started. I should have sent a link out to all my followers when I started. I just haven't done the live in so long. Live's nerve-wracking. It's also a whole different beast. Like, you know, you can do videos, you can do edits. Like live, like, man, you gotta hold the court for like while you're speaking all the time. It's a different beast. Wait, I want to read about this Tanzania because I remember seeing the billboards of this lady when I was there. Violent protests erupt as Tanzania president nears election victory. Government critics abducted, killed, or arrested in run-up to vote as Global Monitor records internet blackout. Wow. Violent demonstrations broke out in Tanzania's largest city, Dar es Salaam, as the country held an election on Wednesday. Samia Hassan, the president, expects to strengthen her grip on the country against the backdrop of rapidly intensifying repression and the exclusion of opponents from the presidential contest. So this chick's a badass. She's like making moves on people. You think it's a woman president, she would let the ops in. Social media videos show protests throwing rocks at police and a petrol station burning. Internet service was disrupted across the country. The Global Monitor NetBlock said live network data shows a nationwide disruption, corroborating reports of a digital blackout on X. Wow. She got a taste. She got a taste of that power. And she didn't want to let it go. Now, Range Maniac, who did you vote for? Who do you like in Tanzania? Do you like this Muslim chick, or you have a different party you like? Let's search. Tanzania protest. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Is there no volume?
Najisikia vizuri kuja kupiga kura yangu, haki yangu ya msingi, kwa sababu ya ardhi yangu, nchi yangu. Sina hofu wala sioni tatizo lolote, hali yangu ya kawaida, na naona mtaa wangu uko na hali ya kawaida, sijaona tofauti ya aina yote.
Yeah, the president, the John guy died and she became president. And then, whoa, so she's putting the ops on trial for treason. Wow. His party, the Chadama, is barred from the polls. Dude, you can't do that. People are going to be pissed. It's so easy, like, to really destabilize a country. In the US, and the CIA does it all the time, you go into one of these countries and there's an election, right? All you gotta say, hey, the election results were fake, or you stop the other party from voting, and then half the country's gonna erupt, protest, then you get the police to shoot them, then they fight back, and then you have a war. I mean, look at, and then everyone loses in a civil war. There's no winners, right? And I was looking at the country of like Liberia the other day, like back in the day, a prosperous country, all this stuff going on for it, and then civil war breaks out. Country just gets obliterated. All the talent, right? All the rich people, all the smart people, all the people building the country, they don't want to die. They don't want their families. They leave. And so it's a brain drain of all the talent leaves the country. And that's also like, you look at Argentina with all this hyperinflation. All my young, talented friends from there, they all live like in Australia. They've gone to Asia. They've left. So there's not the opportunity there for them anymore. And that's what I'm afraid of for the United States. If we have a civil war, everyone just leaves. Money leaves. Country destroys itself. China keeps building. We tear ourselves apart. Wow. KFC is everywhere. Wow. Also, like when the government bans social media, it makes things worse, right? Because it's like they're trying to hide stuff. And you look at, oh, what was that one country? They, in Southeast Asia or whatever, they like banned the social media for like a week and they overthrew the whole government and replaced it in like 2 weeks. So these media blackouts and stuff end up having the opposite effect. Man, I'd be kind of scared if I were like a first-time visitor tourist to Tanzania. This would not be a good time to be there. The former president of Tanzania and a strong supporter of Samia Suluhu Hassan has reportedly left the country due to fears surrounding the Gen Z protesters. See, the Gen Z is about to take over, right? Because the baby boomers have had this stranglehold of the global economy. They own all the assets, they own everything. But now the size of the Gen Z, the younger population's outweighing the older. And, you know, the wealth inequality between generations is getting bigger and bigger. And the younger generation is going to explode globally. And you look at the United States, the boomers, they own the houses, the stocks, the real estate, everything. The younger generation, all right, they rent, spend all their money traveling. Can't afford a house, can't afford kids, can't afford to get married. People aren't happy and people want these things. That's the American dream, and it's shrinking and shrinking. The United States is still the best country for upward mobility, but it's diminishing. And you are going to see mass protests, mass riots, things that are good right now, and you can already see things breaking. Wait till the market crashes 20%. I mean, people were offing themselves at 3% correction in a crypto market. What's going to happen when there's a 20% stock market crash? It's going to be insane. And no one has any savings or anything to fall back on. We're slowly getting squeezed. So no one has the capacity to weather any storm right now. You know, to be honest with you, like no one's just sitting on a bunch of cash. Everyone's overly invested in all these risky products. If it corrects fast and people can't get out of this stuff, people are just going to get obliterated. And with AI, the opportunity is diminishing. The amount of jobs. You know, I look at my parents' business and it's like half of these jobs, customer service and stuff, these are going to be like AI chatbots in another 2 years. All these jobs are going to be gone. So, and with the labor laws, and then you have to get insurance, all that stuff, it is so much, and sick days, it's just, you've replaced it by AI, or you're going to have less people doing more work. Amazon just cut 30,000 jobs. That is 10% of their workforce. They said it was because of overhiring from the pandemic. Now, my family business is tied to Amazon. We made a lot of money with this partnership we had with Amazon for the COVID years. Now all that excess is coming to an end. And they're letting all these people go. They're using AI. This isn't like, we're not talking they're cutting fulfillment jobs or delivery. These are corporate jobs. These are well-paying corporate jobs where these people have a 4-year degree, master's degree, thought they were cush, gone. And Amazon is always the trendsetter, right? And these other companies are out there like, damn, Amazon just got rid of 10%. Do we really need all these people? Can we replace some of these customer service with AI bots? Can we have less people do more work? And they're going to start cutting. And no one wants to be the first one to make the big cuts, but now that Amazon's done it, these other companies are going to start cutting. And I remember when the tech bubble or the tech companies started cutting back, I remember these Facebooks and stuff back in the day, they were hiring engineers and stuff just so their competitors wouldn't get a hold of people. They might not even need these people. They just, oh, this is a talent. They're going to buy these people up so their ops can't get a hold of them. And they would sit there and do nothing. And I remember watching all these videos. They're like, people saying, oh, I get paid like good 6 figures. I'm not doing anything. There's no work. Like I can come and go when I want, unlimited vacation. Like all those videos have disappeared. All those people got let go. The you know the excess got cut, and I think it's gonna get cut and cut and cut. And the thing that sucks, when the job market sucks, people are scared to leave jobs, and the employers own you, right? They know there's no other jobs out there, and they're gonna get you to do what they want. And I'm the biggest proponent of work for yourself, because at the end of the day, you are always going to get screwed working for someone else or making someone else money. You want to wake up, be 40 years old, 50 years old, asking for your 2 weeks vacation. Me, I go where I want, when I want. It's freedom. I would rather, if I would have stayed working, I'd be making way more money where I was at, to be honest with you. But I would not trade it for anything. I mean, I've traveled the world the last 3 years, and to have the freedom to do what I want. I don't sleep in or anything, but like, all right, I can go on a run this morning. Yesterday, I went down to Laguna Beach, worked from a coffee shop, went down to the beach, had dinner. Like, I used to work in a windowless office. Like, how do you want to live your life? It's not healthy to go sit at a desk for 10 hours a day. Sitting's the new smoking. You want to get out and move. And I'm not saying quit your day job, but like figure out what you want to do, learn from the company you're at, and start doing your side gig in your free hours. And then when it starts making enough money to support you, dip out. You have to be looking for an exit strategy, because all these people that are working for corporate America put 20 years in, 30 years in. When this next crash happens, they're just going to wake up with an email that, hey, you're fired. All your computer equipment doesn't work anymore. There's no loyalty. I have a family friend where worked for Foot Locker for 20, 30 years, like high-level exec. Just looked at it one day, he's making too much money. We can hire some new grad for 1/4 of the price. And what they did was Foot Locker didn't even try to fire this guy. Because if you fire him, right, he gets the full benefits. They demoted him to like an entry-level job so they could get him to quit, so they didn't have to pay him unemployment or any of these benefits. And it was just such a slap in the face for this guy. And he's a high-level exec. And he's too old to go work somewhere else. So he's like, all right, I guess I'm just going to take the demotion, take every vacation, sick day, and continue to collect my medical, because he's having some medical problems. So he's just taking it so he can have the medical and going through the motions. Well, all these people are going to wake up. These companies have no loyalty. They don't care who you are. This isn't back in the day. Like my grandpa retired at like 55, full Social Security, and then he had a private pension from his company. Like private pensions don't exist anymore. And it is going to be dog eat dog. And with where inflation's going to go with these next round of bailouts, your Social Security is not going to cover your rent and your food. And it's pretty sad. I was at the grocery store yesterday. There's a Trader Joe's like across the street where I usually get my stuff, and then I go across the freeway, and there's like a Ralph's, and it's a nice area, but I don't know why by this freeway it's always, everyone in there has got an issue. It's people are losers. But I felt bad. I'm like checking out, and there's an older lady in front of me, and you see what other people are buying, and it's just like canned food, just like nothing. It was just all horrible canned food, some frozen food, and no vegetables, no fruit, nothing. And she doesn't want to be eating canned food. I think she's probably retired too early, and she's on a fixed income with her Social Security, and she can't afford anything else, and the food prices are just so crazy that all these people can afford now is canned food and some frozen food at the grocery store. And, you know, you and I both know that stuff's horrible for you. That's like, hey, you have it every once in a while, but I mean, you're eating canned food on a regular basis, packaged food, all the preservatives, sodium, whatever. It's just horrible for you. You got to eat fresh food. And honestly, to eat fresh food and fruits and all that stuff, it's very expensive now. And fast food's expensive now. Because like where I live in California, they raised the minimum wage for fast food employees to like $24 an hour. I think the only restaurant now you can get a meal for under $10 is In-N-Out. But besides that, you go to lunch on your lunch break, $15 to $20 for lunch. And you look at what you have to put in at work. And I look at some of the people, my family employees, and it's like, all right, they're making $24 an hour, even give them $34. Like, they're still not making it where we live. It's too freaking expensive, and everyone's adults living in apartments, like renting a room with all these other people. I mean, their existences suck right now. And unfortunately, like, you have to be smart, and you got to take risks right now because you need to be beating inflation. And salaried job right now under six figures is not beating inflation. And this is where you're seeing the whole rise of the digital nomad, right? Because if people, they go to places like Paraguay, it's like, oh my God, like 80 grand here, you're like one of the richest people. So these digital nomads are just exploding everywhere else. And, you know, that's why you see that. Who's Laugh PT0? No, I don't have any kids yet. No kids yet. But it's crazy. And like, in my opinion, I think the U.S. days are numbered. And trust me, I want it to work. I'm like, have the biggest beneficiary of the system working. I want the U.S. to win. But if the U.S. fails, Europe will go down too. China is going to be expanding into the rest of Asia. Asian societies are homogenous. Like, you can go there, but you'll never be one of them, correct? And Central America is kind of a basket case. I think the play is South America. And if this war in Ukraine spreads to the rest of Europe, we have this huge economic crash. The U.S. turns in on itself. China's expanding. I think the best places are like Buenos Aires, Argentina, Uruguay, Chile. They're going to be bastions of stability when everything's going crazy. There's no nuclear weapons. There's no regional war. And I think people are going to be fighting to try to get into these countries. And if you go now, you can lock in some good stuff. I still think like real estate's valued everywhere, but I think it'll be good. So yeah, Tanzania, man, just one bad election, everything can kind of go crazy. Look at all this stuff. Wow. Oh, and I gotta do some videos for this. This company sent me a bunch of stuff. BitAxe, wait. Power mining. BitAxe. These are like miners you can use at home. It's only like 4 terahash, but you can do it at home. So I'm gonna like set this up. This is pretty cool. Wait, hold on. Whoa. It's pretty cool. Wait. This is an at-home Bitcoin miner. BitAxe Gamma by Power Mining. This is pretty cool. Wow. Put this back in here. I gotta figure out how to make some videos for this. Some viral videos. So I got this. What else? This guy sent me like a whole care package. Laugh P0 sent me our address. I started giving money away. No one wants money anymore. You know? Whoa, what is this? Whoa! This is a really sick box. Nerd Matter. Wow. Wait. Can you see this? Nerd, or what's it? Nero QX? I don't even know what this is. What is this? What's in here? Whoa. Bro, no, this is the 4 terahash one. Look at this thing. Mine Bitcoin at home, baby. Whoa. This is like the real deal. It's got like a full case, things. This is sick. I'm gonna have to make some videos. I gotta figure out how to set it up first. Wow, this is really sick. Power Mining. Is that the name of the company? Wait, hold on. PowerMining.io sent me all this. This is cool stuff. It's like Christmas morning over here. So you missed the $5 thing because I was doing it earlier. Laugh PTO. If you want $5, all you have to do is go to my link in the bio and clip 10 video, take 10 clips from this. Find like 10 sections of this that make sense. You can clip directly from Kick. And you submit those 10 videos on the Google form where it says jobs. And it has your Solana address and I'll send it to you. And I'll do that as many times as you want. Every 10 clips, I pay $5. So 50 cents per clip from this. And the people that make good clips with like music and then they put the voice to text on it, they make $1 plus a video as they get better. And then if you're really good, we assign you one of my TikTok accounts, and I have a software that lets you publish on our account, and I pay 50 cents per 1,000 views, so you can make like hundreds of dollars. So it's a new thing we just set up, and I'm gonna have the automated message actually on this thing send people to the Google form. Let me see. Oh, I don't have it on here. But yeah, go to my Google form and submit 10 clips from the Kick stream, and I'll give you $5. And there's unlimited. You can send me 30, 40 videos. Because what we do is I have someone that schedules the post, and they go to all these accounts I control. So I gotta eat. I got another meeting at 1 p.m. I got a interview. I'll talk to you guys later. How do I